gavel in for the April meeting 2026 for PPRTA. Calls to order. I think we've established a quorum. Kind of staff, they're nodding. So, second item is approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion for today's agenda.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve the agenda.
Mayor Osborne, second.
Okay, you're good. You're good. Perfect. Everybody jumping in. Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Motion carries. Item 3, public comment for items not scheduled on the agenda. Anyone from the public here for public comment? Online? Okay. We will move on. Item 4 is approval of the minutes from March 11th, 2026 meeting. What would the board like to do with that?
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Okay.
Mayor Osborne, second.
I'll spread a second. Anything under question? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number 5, Citizens Advisory Committee, our monthly report. Take it away, Larry.
Larry Tobias, first vice chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee. I have a couple items that I will discuss before I actually get into our actual CAC meeting. The first one being is that Jim Godfrey, the chairman, is out tooling around in his RV somewhere, paying over $5 a gallon for diesel gas. And Rick said that he only gets about 6 miles a gallon. So it'll be interesting to see how much it costs him next month when he gets back. The next item is I'd like to bring up the fact that a previous CAC member, Jim Egbert, who served on the CAC from November 2010 until August of 2016, passed away just recently at the age of 86. So I would just like to take a moment and then we'll move on from there. All right, thank you. CAC. During the public comments section, Rick Sonnenberg informed the CAC that the City of Colorado Springs had dissolved the city CTAP by ordinance on second reading on March 24th. CTAP had provided the city's 3 representatives to the PPRTA CAC in the past. So consequently, the city council will begin a process to appoint 3 citizens to the PPRTA CAC. This also brings up a couple other items relative to this, is that the bylaws will also have to be changed to reflect this change in the representation from the City of Colorado Springs. Jennifer, would you like to add any comments to that?
We plan to have those before the CAC for next month's cycle of meetings.
All right, thank you. Gail, would you like to add any comments to it?
Yes, so the city council staff has started recruiting for volunteers to sit on the PPRTA CAC. The applications have been circulated and they are due April 21st. I'm assuming that screening process and interviews go as well. We would expect to have city CAC members by the June 3rd CAC meeting. So hopefully we can get the bylaws changed in May. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item, financial reports. Lisa gave us the financial reports. Unfortunately, and you've got it in your packet too, unfortunately, the first reading in January, we were $14,000 below budget, but that's just a minor amount. So we're hoping that we will recover that as we go on throughout the year. City of Colorado Springs contracts. We reviewed, Gail gave us an overview and 7 contracts, and they were approved by the CAC, all 7 of them unanimously. El Paso County, Josh gave us a overview of 2 contracts that they had. Again, the CAC approved them unanimously, and you've got both those contracts from the city and the county in your packets today. City of Colorado Springs Transit Service monthly update. Land gave us that report. One interesting item that we, several of us made comments, including myself, is that they are in the process of building a new customer service center here in the bus terminal right here on Nevada, where all the buses come in. And we believe that that will be improve the customer service for the bus customers that are using the system, since they don't have to go out to where the maintenance facility is now. So that was a very positive item that we saw. City of Colorado Springs monthly change order and property acquisition report. Information only. There were no questions or comments relative to it. El Paso County monthly change order and property acquisition report. Information only. Again, no questions or comments relative. Rick Stoltenberg gave a report of recent board actions. It was information only, but it did give us a report of, what the board had accomplished before. Then Rick gave us the staff field review of where he makes sure that all the projects are being properly handled out in the field. He found no problems whatsoever. There were no agenda topics for the next meeting. Communications. Mr. Sonderberg distributed, and I noticed him passing them out to each one of the board members just now, is that distributed the new PPRTA 2026 annual report. Any questions or comments?
Anything for the CAC?
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
I might just comment, Jim Egbert was an incredible gentleman. I served with him on the CAC for quite a bit of time that he was there, and he'll certainly be missed. I know you feel the same way, Larry. He was like just a great contributor to the community in so many different ways, and someone that I certainly looked up to. Thanks for acknowledging his passing and for acknowledging what he has done for this organization and community at large.
And thank you for those additional comments.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll continue to keep his family in our thoughts and prayers. So. Okay. What would we like to do with the CAC report?
Mayor Dixon, I'll move we accept the CAC report.
Accepted. Okay.
Commissioner Williams, second.
Okay, I got to move in a second. If there's nothing else on the question, all those in favor? Anybody? Opposed? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. And number 6, our financial reports.
Yep, we are meeting a few days too early, so I don't have anything available yet, but it will be emailed out as soon as it's done.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll move on to item 7. Item 7A, City of Colorado Springs Capital Maintenance with Transportation Contracts. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the PPRTA board. My name is Gail Sturdivant. I'm the City Engineer and Deputy Public Works Director for Colorado Springs. Today, we're bringing 7 contracts for the board's approval and then 2 for informational items. Jumping right in, the first one is for the Colorado Avenue improvements. This improvement project includes 2 PPRTA 3 A-list projects. There is a map included in your packet. The overall extent of these 2 projects goes from Limit Street, so just down the street from where we are right now, up to 31st Street. I will also share with you that we've got federal funds that we're also bringing to this overall project for future work as well. This project would really is intended to put in place what was envisioned in the Midland Corridor Study that was completed a few years ago. But as we go through and deliver this project, we really want to do a demonstration project in advance of doing full construction and build out, particularly for the improvements that were recommended in Old Colorado City. And this conversion of what's really recommended would take the 4 lanes down to 3 lanes, maintaining relatively the same amount of parking that there's currently on Colorado Avenue. Through the Old Colorado City area, the demonstration project would temporarily put in place what would be bump outs and what would represent the future curb line extensions. If you spent time in Old Colorado City, the existing sidewalks are not in the best of shape to begin with, and they are relatively narrow. So with this 4 to 3 lane conversion, there is potential to bring those to improve those streetscaping activities. But before we jump into that, we want to do a demonstration project, and we're going to have a robust community outreach effort. The contract I'm bringing for you today is going to be for public engagement associated with these projects. The city went through an RFP process where we had 3 respondents. We have selected HDR consultants through engineering to support this effort. And then this contract for public engagement would be for $162,365.50. The city's second contract is for the North Nevada Avenue program. This is a programmatic approach to deliver 6 PPRTA 3 A-list projects under this programmatic approach. And the reason why I want to do it, because 4 of those 6 segments are Colorado Avenue and how they were broken up and where we thought might be logical construction packages when we did initial planning. And then there are 2 other companion projects that are in the area. One is the intersection study of Nevada Garden of the Gods and Austin Bluffs to understand whether it's an at-grade intersection or grade separated improvements. And then the 6th project is looking at a portion of the design efforts for the Cascade to Mark Dabbling connection. And the reason why this is important, in the RTA 3 list, it said design only. But as we go through and do this reinvestment on Nevada Avenue, we need to understand how the traffic patterns are going to work in the future. So part of this program will be looking at the traffic analysis piece of this and making a determination how that might work in the future for design efforts. The city went through a very extensive RFP process to get a consulting team on board. We had 3 respondents. We interviewed our top 2 respondents, and we've selected Olson Engineering to be able to provide that services for us. We are asking for a not to exceed contract for this first initial effort for concept, the intersection study, traffic analysis, public engagement, and going into preliminary engineering for a not to exceed value of $2 million. There is a map included that shows, by the way, the 6 projects included in your packet. I meant to mention that earlier on. The city's 3rd contract is for a bridge maintenance effort on Barnes Road over Sand Creek. There's a map included in your packet. If you're familiar, this is east of Powers. So as you were looking east of Powers on Barnes, one of your next major roadways is Charlotte Parkway. This is just to the east of Charlotte Parkway. This is going to be some waterproof membrane activity, deck patching, guardrail repair, and some painting to prevent corrosion on that bridge. There's actually 2 separate bridges that are in that area. The city has 4 vendors we get pricing from for bridge maintenance activities. This particular effort is awarded to Wildcat Construction in the amount of $958,662. City's 4th contract is for the Brookside Street Realignment Project. This would come under the Intersection Improvements Program, and this has a fund balance reserve associated with it that we've mentioned to and got approval from the PPRTA board in the past, and we will be providing an update on that here in the next few months as well. This is to do final engineering work for that realignment and not to exceed value of $199,340 with Kimley Horn. The City's fifth contract is for the engineering efforts or design efforts for intersection improvements at Interquest Parkway and Federal Drive. This is up in the north part of the city, not too far from Powers Boulevard. There's a map included in your packet for this effort. This design effort would come through the city's intersection improvements program, and to be able to take what was already developed as a concept and do final engineering for it for future construction to be determined, but likely be performed with monies provided by Pikes Peak State College and or Mountain Metro. The college originally approached us to talk about circulation issues that they were experiencing on the college in that area. And so we've gone through and had Kinley Horn do a conceptual analysis and alternatives analysis on it. I will share with you that there's always been planned to have a signalized intersection at Federal and Interquest. So this is really just to do the planning piece to see how it works, in particular with the university's ring road, essentially, that's so close to that area. So the concept proved to be viable. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with the engineering effort and be prepared for the construction as future dollars are identified in the next couple of years. The other benefit for this is the city through Mountain Metro Transit has been working on a couple different mobility hubs in the city. One of them is the North Mobility Hub, which is anticipated to be located on Pikes Peak State College campus. So this would be help facilitate getting those buses in and out and into this mobility hub area. So this is for the engineering efforts with Kinley Horn and the amount of $260,078. City's sixth contract is for a new signalized intersection at Mark Shuffle and Peaceful Valley Road. This is the complete opposite end of the city, down on the south area, very close to Fountain. As the city took over Mark Shuffle Road about 5 years ago, this was an area we've been watching, and we've gone through signal warrants, and it is determined that signals is necessary at that location. There is a map included. This project also would be funded through the Intersection Improvements Program for the signalization. It is in the amount of $314,736.60 to C&D Electric. And Mr. Chair, I think hopefully you got my email. Part of it does include a striped crosswalk where it has ADA compliance on the south side of that
I
intersection.
did. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. So
Perfect.
can you take questions now or do you want to wait till after? Did you have one more?
I could do
right?
either.
Okay. We had a, okay. Well, let's go ahead. You go ahead and
I'm
finish.
on a roll. And
Do
then
it.
we'll jump back into all sorts of questions. All right, the city's seventh contract for your approval is for the Vision Zero software license renewal. This would be paid for under RTA 3 congestion and incident management programmatic funds. The city uses this software to perform safety analysis at intersections and roadways. This is really a very cost-effective way for us to determine the best way to apply PPRTA funds to do safety improvements throughout the area. So those are the 7 for approval. I have 2 more for informational items that are related to transit. The first one is for on-call concrete that's specifically to support Mountain Metro Transit. The PPRTA approved these contracts a couple of years ago. This would be authorizing option year 2 with the not to exceed value of the 2 selected contractors, Lucky Down Contracting and Alunic Enterprises. This would be for a total of $250,000 for each contractor. Of that, 20% of those funds would come from PPRTA, and the other 80% would be coming from the federal government through a grant program. The 9th contract is to purchase 5 cutaway buses. The city, and then with approval of PPRTA, put a contract in place last year to price several different bus types that could be used in the Mountain Metro Transit fleet. This is to exercise option year 1 and to provide to buy 5 of these. They're the 22-foot, the shorter ADA accessible cutaway buses. So they're the shorter, smaller bus that would be used for services. Underneath this pricing, the total for these 5 buses would be $818,460. Of that, the local match piece covered by PPRT funding would be $163,692. So those are the contracts for presentation. I'm happy to take questions and appreciate your approval of contracts.
All right, we had a question.
I have a question on, it's the item about Interquest Parkway and Federal Drive, page 26 of 65 in your packet. You kind of touched on it already, that it's always been intended to have a stoplight at that intersection. So that helps a little to hear. My concern was that is a major thoroughfare, and to add stoplights, the impact to the traffic that utilizes Interquest. And I'm not a traffic engineer. I'm speaking as someone who often uses Interquest Parkway. And I just had this conversation with our own Public Works Department with Woodman Road, that I much prefer we keep traffic flowing and use frontage roads as much as possible than, you know, adding more lights and delaying people's time. And so I just had that concern of adding a light to Interquest, and wondered if the traffic studies really warranted that. There was a mention of the traffic study being performed.
Yes, yeah, so there, let me maybe take a step back in history, even as Interquest was put in place, and then we looked at access control, and then access control as it merges with State Highway 90 or 83 as you go north from Powers. It's always been planned that there would be some kind of full movement intersection at that location. So as the need arises, you put the intersection in, and then we also go and look at traffic studies to determine if the signal warrants are met. Meaning, is a signal justified for the amount of traffic that's there, and is it really needed for the safe movement of vehicles on the side streets? And the analysis that's already been done is yes, that not only could that intersection be there, but a signal would be warranted up front. One of the things we would do and look at is also signal progression. So we actually work with the CDOT signals that are there at Powers. And so we would be working to synchronize those to be able to keep traffic moving through there effectively, but also have the cross street traffic moving in as appropriate. I will tell you too, as the development to the south there at Federal Drive, that's Victory Ridge area, you know, since we already know this intersection was planned, they actually have contributed signal escrow monies that we know that would go to that project in the future. So again, looking at the longer term planning, it has been put into place in that area, and then helpful with the future transit activities. We have already looked at the potential for delay or operations area, and there is minor delay that happens as you add a signal in that area, but it's really intended not to slow down the east-west movement at that location. The other thing that's really interesting is we're working on Powers Boulevard too. The Powers connection goes through. Traffic on Interquest is anticipated to be cut down by 35%. So that's pretty significant, because you think about it today, folks come up there, we see trucks in particular. I happen to live in that area, so I get to witness this all the time, that are going on Interquest to get out to I-25 to head north. They do that as opposed to going up to Northgate, which is fine with me. But you would see that these trucks in the future would keep going north there in Powers. Oh, and then I wanted to point out too, the other signal that's in that area, there's actually two others. There's one that's in operation right now at New Life Drive. It supports New Life Drive traffic. It also supports the new Fire Station 24, and there's other development that's planned in that pocket there adjacent to the fire station. And then also looking at the plan and study, that State Highway 83 access plan, there's another signal planned. In fact, the signal foundations are already there. Just to the north of Powers as well. So all those are going to be intended to work together.
Okay, thank you. I actually was, I pulled up Google Maps and was looking at the fire station also and thinking, oh, they're probably going to have a stoplight there. I couldn't remember if there was one there already or not, but
yeah,
that was also something I was considering. That, okay, looks like we're adding lots of stoplights, but thanks for giving the bigger picture and future plans of that Interquest maybe won't be as highly used going forward.
Yeah, happy to help.
Thank you.
All right.
And I had a question. Yes, and thank you for getting back to me on the intersection at Mark Shuffle and Peaceful Valley Road. And the improvements look good right now from what I can tell. So hopefully it mitigates the traffic over there. on the Colorado Avenue project, I was looking and you said 4 lanes to 3 lanes. So I'm assuming that it's gonna be parking space, then 1 lane going west, 1 lane going east, and a suicide lane in the middle.
Yeah, they're a two-way turn lane, yes.
Okay, yes, correct.
Yeah.
And my only concern with that though is just the amount of people that they will use that as a passing lane, that one person maybe every day, but they're gonna lose their minds and be following somebody who's just not moving as fast as they are. So,
Well, yeah, and actually it's kind of that thought is why we have crash issues on Colorado Avenue today. And really this configuration is meant to alleviate that. So what we have a history of, hold on, hold my notes on this. I
pull
wanna make
your
sure
notes
that I
up.
get this right.
You're good.
But we have a history of crashes with parked cars, rear ends and side swipes because of the 4 lanes and folks being impatient or not having a pocket to safely pause to make a turn. So this is really, there's lots of industry studies and things that we've done. And we went through and did the city's arterial safety analysis, and it really have come to the conclusion, we think that conversion from 4 to 3 lanes will actually overall improve safety. And we've got a huge cost benefit ratio that's been determined. So we think that would be very effective. So the demonstration project, even though you'll have the lane configuration change, is really going to focus more on that old Colorado City area to see if we have the opportunity to have the other streetscaping improvements and still have improved roadway safety and keep the operational components needed in that area.
All right, well, I appreciate it.
So they're road dieting it.
The road dining, yeah, they're road dining because they're, yeah,
Well, we like to say we're right sizing it and improving safety.
there you go.
Are you putting bike lanes on the side?
We are not putting bike lanes in. If you go and look at that Midland corridor study, it was pretty unanimous that that was not the right corridor for bike lanes, but there are bike lanes to the north and the south. So on Pikes Peak Avenue, there are bike facilities. And then the Midland Trail sits just to the south. So that's where we would direct those users. And then when we go through and do, it's this project progresses, make sure we have ladders of connections to make sure you can get from either side of Colorado Avenue.
Okay.
Perfect. Any more questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Mayor Dixon, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. And nothing else under question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. 7B, El Paso County Capital Maintenance and Public Transportation Contracts. Take it away.
Good afternoon, Josh Palmer, County Engineer. County has 2 items to bring before you for approval today. The first is a design contract to Kimley Horn for the Meridian Road and Flower Road intersection improvements project. For those who are familiar, this is adjacent to the south access to the Walmart out in Falcon on Meridian. County went through an RFP process and we received 6 proposals, and Kimley Horn was selected as the best value, and this is the amount of $438,116. And this project is funded through the PPRTA 3 Safety and Multimodal Program. And this includes alternatives analysis and then ultimate design as well. The second contract is for $145,280 to ZKXKZ LLC for modular roundabout materials. And this is for the Furrow Road Improvements Project. And there's a map that shows the locations. So this is the north segment of Furrow Road, just south of Highway 105. And this will be materials and training for installation for our highway crews. These are modular, replaceable, basically essentially bolt-on materials to construct roundabouts at both of these locations, or traffic circles actually, to be more precise, at these locations. This was actually a sole source contract, as they're the only vendor that provides these materials, and likewise this is funded through the PPRTA 3 Safety and Multimodal Program. More than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for the county? Okay, seeing none, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay,
Mayor Dixon, second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. There's no further questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Item 8A. So member governments and other reports, City Colorado Springs, the transit services, and our monthly update.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board. Line Road Transit Division Manager for Mountain Metro Transit. In your packet, the first section, we included the ridership information for January and February of this year. So I am happy to answer any questions you may have. I would like to move to the transit highlights section. We normally conduct 2 service changes each year during the spring and fall service change period, and we make it a normal practice to go back and evaluate how those changes did. Are they working? Are they not working? Do we need to tweak things a little more? So what we included here in this section are the evaluation results for the changes we made during the fall 2025 service change process. There is a summary right there on the screen about on the changes that we made. We added a few bus stops. We extended the weekend endpoint for Route 9 in UCCS for the resident students. We also made a pretty significant change to Route 33 in Mantua Springs, extending the endpoint to the new Dillon Mobility Hub. We also eliminated a lower ridership route in Mantua Springs, that's Route 36, and reprogrammed those resources towards Route 33 and the new partnership that we just implemented this year, and also a few minor changes along existing routes. So overall, we have included all the details for each change in this packet, but overall, we believe these changes are making positive impacts. We did see some routes with better on-time performance, a little more on time, and also with the routes that are connecting with a different route, we saw an improved connection so people can catch that connecting bus. The most positive result that we would like to highlight is really the redesign of Route 33. This change extending to the Dillon Mobility Hub really makes it possible for our future improvement along that Colorado Avenue. So that's the service change update. And also Larry mentioned that we included a second item about moving customer service to the downtown bus terminal. That's where people meet most of the time. It really gets out of their way to come to the admin building for any questions, bus pass purchase. So at downtown terminal, we bring our customer service to the customers. So it's underway. We're hoping to make the move before June, and probably we'll see our folks down there. That's all I have.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So,
Thank you.
alrighty. Item 8B, City of Colorado Springs, change order and property acquisition reports.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the PPRTA board. The change order report and real estate log is in your packet. It's an informational item. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions for the city? Okay, no. All right, moving on. Item 8C, El Paso County, monthly change order and property acquisition report.
The report and memo are in your packet. Willing to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for the county? Okay, see none. Move on to item 9A. That's our legislative report and considerations of positions on bills. Sorry, lobbyist on, is he online? Is he on the phone?
I think Dan is on. But if not, I'll just start talking. He likes to jump in. So the one bill of interest that we brought to your attention at last month's meeting, 261269 transit access. So when we discussed at last month's meeting, taking an amend position so that we could add language carving the RTA out of the definition of the covered agencies. That amendment was successfully added in the House. It did pass out of the House and is currently scheduled to be heard in the Senate on April 22nd. I don't have a crystal ball like Dan might as to whether or not it might die in the Senate. I know he was not optimistic that it was going to pass through the legislature as a whole, so I'm not sure if that thinking was it might die in the Senate. I'm not sure. I would have to rely on him for that. Beyond that, we really aren't closely monitoring any other bills right now. Knock on wood that maybe we can keep it that way. But that's really the report for now. That's the only one we're closely tracking.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I wasn't able to attend last month and you're not the lobbyist, so you can totally bow out. But could you give just a real high level summary of what this bill is intending to do? And then why we're asking for that amendment?
I was going to say Lan might be more in tune for what it is actually intended to do since she's in tune with the transit stuff. So I'm going to phone a friend.
That works.
I'll try. So this bill, the initial bill as introduced would cause more than $3.3 million deficit on an annual basis to transit. Because it's making significant changes to how we collect fare and the structure of the fare. However, the recent amendments eliminated that biggest concern of more than 3 million deficit to us on an annual basis. However, they added additional reporting requirements. Some where they collect and report to the federal government. Some are collected but not required to report currently, but we can get those. Some we don't have. So we're working through the process and reading through the bill, and for some of those newer requirements, we don't currently have them in place. For example, one requirement is to report on the restroom access for transit drivers and passengers along every single transit route. So we do not have that information. And also they require stop-by-stop onboarding, boarding information and alighting information. So we have boarding, not alighting. So those are just some examples of the reporting requirements.
And it's the reporting requirements that are causing the $3 million impact?
No, not
what is causing that?
Much less. We are still working through the cost estimate, but it's gonna be a lot less, but it will cost money. And we're still trying to figure out how to gather the information that we don't currently have, such as the restroom access.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, I love data, but also what are we doing with it and why are we gathering it? What does it help us do?
And a lot of the information is already publicly available to the Federal Transit Administration.
Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate that.
So just to tack onto that, the goal and some of the discussion last month, I forgot that you weren't here, was whether or not the PPRTA should oppose it more broadly. The decision based on lobbyists' recommendation, and my thoughts were that our interest was to get carved out of it so we didn't have duplicative reporting, and then allow the transit providers to actually work on the other side of it since we're not a provider.
I did read that in the minutes that the strategy of opposing versus amending, and that made a lot of sense, but I just went and tried to skim the bill myself and wasn't really grasping the purpose. Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate everybody taking a step back for me to get caught up.
Try to push back on all these unfunded mandates from the state. So, okay, anything else to cover? I don't know, Dan, our lobbyist, I assume he's not getting on. So any other questions under the legislative report or considerations of bills or governments? No. Okay. Item 9B, staff field review and report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just an information item, just the results of my windshield driving around, checking on projects that were reported in the fourth quarter of 2025. Be glad to take any questions.
Any questions for Rick? Okay. Moving on. Item 10, agenda topics for next meeting. Does anybody have anything? Any of the member governments? Okay. Move on to item 11, PPRTA member announcements. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As many of you probably know, City Council took an action on Monday of this week to appoint a replacement for the District 2 council member. And Mr. Ken Casey was the individual that the majority of council voted for. Why that's important to PPRTA is that the previous District 2 representative was designated as a voting member of this body. And we anticipate that after Mr. Casey is sworn into office next Monday, that the council president will appoint a new voting member to the PPRTA. And so I don't know if that will be Mr. Casey or not. It's probably likely that it will be, simply because that means less moving of parts for the rest of us. But anyway, just wanted to mention that hopefully by the next PPRTA board meeting, we will have someone here in the seat full time from the city as well. So anything else, Councilmember Gold, that you'd want to chime in on there?
That's good to hear. Thank you for the update. Okay, anything else? Okay, seeing we have nothing else left, and now we're to the last item. Make a motion to adjourn. Okay, so moved. Second. Got a second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.